Today was the final day of the Odin versus Anna match, and coming in today, the score was 2.5 for Odin versus 1.5 for me. This meant that I had to get at least 1.5 point out of the 2 games that I played today to be able to tie the match and have a chance at a fantastic and very beautiful watch, and also at gaining a lot of rating points. So I'm gonna just jump in and show you what happened in this video. I'll tell you who the winner is. The 2 games, I mean, they were roller coasters, but in chess. No, they were like, imagine going to a theme park, and you go on this like scariest roller coasters for the first time ever, like that feeling in your stomach. That's what I felt during these games. So let me show you the first one that I played. I had the black pieces, and Odin, he is a Norwegian guy. He has a podcast called Snack, a Norwegian chess podcast, and he also has the Guinness World Record for having played chess the longest, over 62 hours, which is insane. So the game started with him going e4, I went c5, he played knight f3, and the opening was literally the same opening as we've had the last few days. It was exactly the same opening. Every opening I've played with black, it's been the same thing. The Sveshnikov, I feel like I know it now better than ever. I feel like anybody else can play it, and nobody will know it as good as I do after all these games, which I know is not true. But yeah, just play the same opening 3 classical games in a row. It's crazy. Castles, h4, a5, and now the difference from what I had played before was that here, after going a4, I knew he was going to castle, well, I knew he was going to go knight e3, because if he castles queenside now, then I can go b3, threatening the knight and forcing him to take. And I knew I was going to go knight here, because this is what he's done every single game. And now I had prepared a new move, which was going b3 immediately. Now, what is the idea of b3? The idea of b3 is that I am asking him, okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to take here? This is a free pawn. But if we trade everything, then his plan of going long castles is not going to work anymore, and his king is very weak. So I have a lot of compensation for the pawn. And if he goes a3, now I can go queen a5 check, and I can check him before he decides to go long castles. So here he spent a little bit of time thinking. He obviously realized that I had prepared, and ultimately he ended up going queen c3. Now I thought he was going to play knight c3 because I thought that he doesn't like trading queens, but here he did decide to trade queens. And so I did, and I went knight d4. He castled, I went g6. He played knight d5. And here I should probably have just gone bishop d8 immediately and kept my bishop. I decided to take his knight because honestly, I thought this was what the theory was, and then go bishop d8. But yeah, now he played f4. I went f5. Very important that I reply with the same move. I'm now threatening this pawn. This knight is really strong, but the problem that I have in this position, and the ultimate problem of this opening, is that I have these 2 pawns that can either be my winning pawns or my losing pawns. Either I will get so much activity because these pawns are completely forcing the king to stay here, and they're so advanced, or I will literally just end up losing both of these pawns because they're on light squares and I don't have a light squared bishop. So one of those 2 things can happen. And of course, I hope for the first, that I win with the pawns. So yeah, I went f5, and he played here this crazy move h5, which is actually the best move in the position. And here, I spent some time thinking because I wondered, okay, should I play something like g5 or should I take here? And I was going crazy calculating all of these variations of take, knight takes f5. I thought rook g1 was the best move. And I couldn't really make sense of this position, but I didn't really like it for me because it felt like these pawns were going to start pushing soon. I didn't want to take here because my king was weak. Somehow I wasn't so comfortable with it. So I decided to just simply take this pawn. And when I did it, like Odin kind of looked at me and I was like, oh no, did I blunder something? I was getting so many bad memories from the game yesterday where after takes, or the game the first day where he could have basically checkmated me. I don't even know what day was, but yeah, yesterday I think, where he could have checkmated me just in a few moves in 3 moves, and it was with this exact same situation with my king on g8. I was really worried that was going to happen again. But he went rook e1, threatening my pawn. I went knight f5, which is the best move, and I'm really happy that I was finding all of these moves, threatening this pawn. He went rook h3. And now I think that I made a slight inaccuracy. I decided to take here. I think here I should just be a little bit more flexible and go something like king g7. And then after it takes, I should just play something like bishop a5 and activate all my pieces. Because he can't take here as I have this move and this bishop is falling because of my rook. It's a very tactical and crazy position. But honestly, it was really difficult to play. I wasn't really sure what was going on. And I saw this idea of placing my bishop on h4. But this was just a bad move. The idea of this was that I wanted to trade rooks, but I think it was more due to the fact that I was really terrified of him checkmating me with what rook than actually otherwise. Like, I don't know why I don't know why I want to trade rooks so badly. Even here, yeah, maybe I can even go rook e8. I'm not sure. But anyways, I went for this. We traded rooks, and here I realized that actually I might be worse because now these pawns are going to become a weakness. Like, the knight is coming up to c3. These pawns are hanging. What is going on? Nobody knows, but I was terrified for my dear pawn. So I started fighting for my dear life. So I decided to go bishop d8. The idea was to activate the bishop through a5. And now he made a move that when he played it, I was very happy. Because I pretty quickly realized that things could have gone scarier than this. So he decided to take my knight. And after I took back, I now thought, okay, if he at least goes for these pawns, then this pawn is hanging and I'll get some counterplay. And I shouldn't just be dead lost. Because in my brain, I was like, maybe I'm dead lost. But I realized that I wasn't. So he played king d1 to get his king out of the way. And now I play this move rook h5. The idea was that if we trade rooks, this is a winning endgame for me, which it's kind of maybe a bit difficult to understand why. But the reason this endgame is just winning for me is because basically his king is going to be... If his knight is forced to stop the pawn, I'll be able to win this pawn. And then I'll be able to win this pawn, and this pawn will win because the king has to stay over here to defend these pawns. If the king has to go over here and my knight starts picking up my pawns, well, I'm always going to have bishop f6, and I'm always going to be able to pick this up or pick this up. So because his pawns are so loose and there's so many pawn islands, this is just a losing position for him as he has to control my very side h-pawn. So of course, he didn't trade rooks. Instead, he played rook e3. I went king f7. He played knight c3, threatening my pawn. And now it was time to get to action. I don't know why I have a cough. Is there anybody else that has a cough as well? Let me know. But I've been having a cough the past few days and I don't get it because I don't feel like I'm sick. But anyways, I started checking. I went g5 over here. My pawn was hanging. I went check because I wanted to stop him from taking this pawn, but his king went up. I took the other pawn because I didn't want to be a pawn down. But after rook f3, I realized that things are looking a little bit dim because this pawn is very weak. So here, maybe I should just go king e6 and accept the fact that I'm going to be a pawn down. I didn't want to accept it. Instead, I went check and try to defend my pawn, completely forgetting that my pawn on b3 was hanging. And when he took it, I was like, oh man, like, am I losing? Like, I'm losing. And I started like freaking out because I knew that it'd be so difficult for me to come back in the match if I lost this game. In fact, no, if I lost this game, I would lose the match immediately on the spot. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, because he was up a point, I would be, yeah, if I lost this game, I would lose the match. So it was really important for me to not lose this game. So after king e6, he went knight b6. And now I saw this idea of going bishop e3, threatening the knight. And the idea was, well, that I wanted to, after he moved this knight back, I wanted to keep everything together. Now here, actually, I could have gone bishop c1, rook here, and then pretty much just picked up the pawns, but I missed it. I went bishop d2 because I thought I'm just winning this pawn now. But I found this really tricky idea because there's no way of defending it. But I found this really nice idea of, well, first he went knight b6, I went bishop a5. He realized that it doesn't work, so we went back and forth. He found this nice idea of going check, and after my king moves, I could take this pawn. But now he has the very nice move rook d3. However, he decided to take here first, and I could have taken back here, but I'll be honest and say that I am not the most confident in rook games. I haven't had a good year of rook games, and yeah, I was going to play something like this then, but I was just like, you know, am I surviving these two pawns? Like, you know, the engine is saying that it's a dead draw, but I wasn't sure during the game, so I didn't want to enter something that I wasn't sure about. So instead, I played rook c6, and now actually this is a lot scarier for me. I thought that it'd be easier for me to save with my bishop, Now in this position, after rook check, I actually found the only move that doesn't lose on the spot, which is king e8. And I did that with like a few seconds left. So I was playing all of these moves with very little time, and I'm really happy about that. Here, rook a6, knight d6 check. I went king e7, knight c4. I went back, threatening the knight. He was about to play rook c3, and then actually I have this move, bishop takes a3, just instantly drawing as he can't take. Or he can take, but then I'll just win a pawn. So here we went back and forth a little bit. And now in this position, I found the move. I really want to add like, I really want to do like, I want the thing to show. Can I have like the move strength coloring review? Wait, I want it to tell me that it's a brilliant. I want it to tell me that it's a brilliant. Can I show that it's a brilliant? Move classification style, piece animations. I really wanted to show that it's a brilliant. Oh no, I don't really. Okay, I guess I have to do a review for that, which I don't want to do now. Okay, well, my next move, bishop takes a3, is a brilliant move. Bam. Yeah, I was really proud of it. The idea is that after takes, I have check, and then I'm able to just win back the knight, and it's going to be a drawn endgame. He didn't do that though. Instead, he pushed the pawn to try to make things tricky. I went rook c5, then I went here, just to stop the pawn, and now bishop c5, and I was able to, after check, win the pawn. And now after this, we played on for a few moves, but ultimately it just became a draw. And so this was a crazy draw, especially because the accuracy of this game was of 97 for both of us, 97.0. We had the same accuracy. It was an insanely accurate game, like the most accurate game we've played so far, and I just couldn't believe that the 69 move game was 97 accuracy. Like, I was so proud. Okay, let me actually do a little review to see what rating it's saying that we both have. Let's see what Chess.com says our rating is. Yeah, Chess.com is saying that white played like a 2550 and black played like a 2600. So we were both playing very, very, very good chess. Okay. Although the coach is saying the game ended evenly, but white had some nice moves in there. Why did I not have any nice moves? Hello? Okay. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So after this, the score was 3-2, and I needed a win in the final game of the match. And then this game happened. Here I had the white pieces, and I started with the move d4. We only had like 45 minutes between the games, so we were both so tired when we came in here, and like so... like, what's the word when you're really excited? I don't know. From our previous game. I decided to play a little bit differently than the other day. I still didn't want to enter any of his weird stuff. So I played something that I've never really played before, just very solid. He took, went d5. I played knight c3, and here I should actually play c5. I've done this mistake before that I've forgotten that I should do it, because it just looks kind of counterintuitive to me, because after c5, I'm always scared there's going to be b6. But yeah, I should do that. Instead I played bishop g5, and now I think this just became a little, like, still I should go c5. After this and this, actually, like, black is just better. Like, black is just, has a good position. If I've taken anything from this tournament is that I really need to get new openings, because my openings absolutely suck when I don't play what I usually play, and I typically don't want to because I'm scared that people are going to be prepared. So I need to get new openings. That's what I'm taking away from this. But yeah, castles, h6, I went bishop f4, he went a6, I went rook c1, all of this was pretty fast. But here, I went bishop b3, he played knight a5, and here I spent a little bit of time because I really wanted to make the move bishop c7 work, the fork. But I just couldn't find any like knight move intermezzo that could allow that. So yeah, here I should just have played bishop c2, keeping my bishop. For some reason, I played a4, which is a horrible move, and I allowed him to trade that bishop. If you are going to listen to any advice, just listen to this. Please keep your bishop pair. Your life becomes easier with bishops. You may think it doesn't, but it does, and you should have your bishop pair. Bishop pair. Remember bishop pair. In fact, if you listen to this right now, I want to see how many of you are actually like listening all the way up until here. How many of you are watching right now? Type bishop pair in the comments. Bishop pair. Anyway, so I gave up my bishop pair, thinking that it was fine. And I started kind of jumping around with my knights. I'm kind of wondering what I was doing, because I thought I was getting strong knights, but it's just all of this is so bad without my light squared bishop. Played a5, now I was like, oh, now this diagonal is getting taken. Like, this was just a horrible opening. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of going pretty quickly here, but here I just didn't really know exactly what my plan was, and so I decided to play this move bishop h4. The idea is that I'm threatening to go knight d7, or I'm threatening to take, and then go knight d7, forking a bunch of pieces. So I played queen b7, which is the best move, and here I spent like 10 minutes thinking, and I saw a line in which I would win a pawn in an endgame. Yes, I know, it doesn't look like it's an endgame anytime soon. And I was really thinking, I was like, is this going to happen? But I thought, okay, I'm worse right now. I'm going to take the risk that he enters that position, because the moves that I thought that he would play for that, I thought were pretty reasonable. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to bet that he's going to do this, because actually this was my first reaction of what I would like to play as black. So I went for it. And the idea was to go bishop takes f6, to eliminate this bishop from protecting this c5 square. Bishop takes back, and now I went for this move queen b5. Now this move has a few ideas. The first one is that I'm threatening knight d7. The second one is that I'm threatening this pawn. And the third one is just that it looks maybe a little bit intimidating. I don't know. Yeah, here he can absolutely just trade queens, and then he's gonna just be better. But I thought that even after something like this, I'm worse, but I can at least get some activity, I thought. But I mean, because, you know, this pawn is hanging, like I thought maybe rook c7 at some point. But yeah, I mean, it's not a great position. Here I also maybe have knight d7. I'm not sure, but there were a lot of different things, and I just kind of thought, okay, I'll just have to deal with this because my position is so bad. But he played what I thought he was going to play, which was trading rooks and then going for this move rook c8 to try to get control of the c-file and back rank checkmate me. And now comes the idea of why I took on f6 is because in this position, I wanted to be able to have rook c5. The idea here is that I'm now threatening a handful of different things. First and foremost, this pawn, how do you defend it? I don't know. Maybe you have to go queen a8 to defend it. Secondly, I thought if you go rook takes c5, I just thought this looked really good for me, and apparently it's not, because this pawn race, he just wins. But in my brain, this was very good, and I'm really happy that we didn't enter this, because this is just losing for me. Yeah, my plan after rook takes c5 was actually take with the pawn. That's crazy. Wow, that is actually crazy. I can also go queen e8 check, and after this I can take. Now with the idea of taking on f7, and this just becomes utter chaos. And now there's knight d7 threatening checkmate. What's happening? Okay, wow. Okay, I didn't see this whatsoever. This is crazy. Okay, this absolutely did not happen. Instead, after rook c5, he played the move that I was expecting him to play, which was bishop e7, threatening my rook and forcing me now to get the rook out of there. But now, the move that I had thought about before, where I won a pawn, happened. So queen takes queen, bishop takes, rook takes, and knight c6. So this was the position that I had seen 6 moves prior right over here. And it happened, and I was really happy when it happened. So now I'm threatening the bishop and I'm threatening the pawn. And yeah, this is just very, very, very nice because there's not really any way of defending any of it. So he went king f8, I took the pawn. Wasn't sure if I should have gone king f1 instead, but I took the pawn. He went bishop a6, and now these bishops, I thought I was just winning here, and it was really huge because I needed to win to be able to tie the match. But these bishops were fierce. Like, these bishops were strong. I went knight e5, which looks so logical. King e8. Now, yeah, I went f3, which apparently is a mistake. I wanted to open up for my king to move up. I honestly don't know why it's a mistake. I cannot really tell you. I just thought I had to get my king up here after f6. I didn't really want to play something like knight over here because I didn't like the idea that after bishop d6, king d7, all my pieces are kind of like, my knights are so bad right now. Yeah, I didn't like that whatsoever. Maybe I should keep it this way and then just try to bring my king up. But yeah, I just didn't really exactly know what to do. So, or how to deal with this. So I thought the best way was for me to have my knights closer to my king so that my knights would be free to move. So I went king f2. Now finally I was getting my king out. Knight b3. And here I was really happy. And I found this good move, knight e3. And he went king d6. And here, even though I'm a pawn up, it's actually not that much. Like, it's, the engine is giving this 0.8 for me, which is almost a whole pawn up. But it definitely has a lot of compensation because of these bishops. Now here, I made a mistake. I was considering going king e1, and this is the best move. And I didn't do it for the reasons that I thought that the move that I did now was just a lot better. But yeah, this is the best move, and I should have done it. And it's kind of a move where just ask, okay, what are you going to do? I kind of thought, okay, what if he just waits? What happens then? Well, then I get my king up, I suppose. And maybe that is pretty great. I'm not really sure exactly how I progress here anyways. I guess I can always do this, and then go knight here. Then the problem is, yeah. I need to try to win this pawn. Anyways, in this position, I should have gone a5. If I'm going to go for the idea that I want, I should have gone a5 to gain a tempo. And I kind of saw this during the game, but I got so low on time that I just... Yeah, I made this move with 8 seconds. But now this is going to become the same thing as if I would have gone a5 first. But with a5, I would have been one move up, and it could have made a difference. So, knight c2. I'm threatening right now the pawn. Now, the only thing that he can do to save the pawn is to go bishop c4 and threaten my knight. Now, the idea was that after knight here, he's doing this so that this knight gets away from the protection of this pawn. Now that my idea was just simply that I thought, okay, I'm going to have 2 passed pawns, and he can't take here because I'm threatening the bishop. That's why I entered all of this. I just thought this is amazing. And I just thought, okay, I have 2 passed pawns. This has to be winning. So I went here knight a2, which looks strange, but it's actually the best move. The idea is that he can't take this pawn because then there's a fork, and then I win the bishop, and I'm threatening to go b4 and start rolling with my pawns. So I went bishop c2, which is good. Here, I should go b3. I didn't do it. I went a5, but now you see I could have already had this position if I would have just gone a5 before, so I would be a move up. So yeah, it's a bit annoying that I didn't do that. And now actually, even though it's just, I'm a pawn up, it's actually just a complete draw. Like, these bishops are completely dominating the board, and I cannot really push these pawns. And I try to do some funny stuff, but like with my knight, I try to win some of these pawns, and I did end up being a pawn up. But Odin defended really well, and this is just a drawn position, and the game ended a draw. And okay, I pushed this for like 30 moves because, you know, I had to win this game to win the match, to tie the match. But yeah, it was just a draw. And so the game ended in a draw, and the winner of the match was therefore Odin. He won the match with 3.5 versus 2.5, and yeah, it was an amazing match. I mean, it became really close, which I'm really happy with. Like, he won with the smallest margin, which of course is 100 points higher rated than me, so you know, he was the favorite to win. I'm still a little bit sad that I lost the match. You know, losing is never fun. Like, I want to win the match. I don't care what my opponent's rating is. I always want to fight. But I actually think that overall I've played well the games. I think I've become a lot better at defending. In the past, whenever I got a bad position, I would just crumble like a cookie. But now I've stopped crumbling. They even call me Anna Cramling sometimes because of my last name, Cramling. But I've stopped crumbling. I'm not crumbling anymore. When I have a worse position, I fight all the way till the end. And I've done that this match. I mean, all games besides this one pretty much have been worse. And I mean, here too. All games have been worse, actually. And I've been able to fight back in a lot of different ways. And I think that to me has been the most motivating thing with this match. That I've truly realized that to win a chess game, you don't just win once. You have to win several times in the same game. And it's the same if you're losing a game. It's like your opponent has to beat you several times if you put up good of an enough fight. And I've tried to make Odin have to beat me several times in each game instead of just one time. And it's worked. Sometimes he's beaten me at certain points of the game, but then I've been able to beat him in other parts of the game and it's become a draw. Or I've won. And so it's been honestly a really, really, really exciting match. And I'm so thankful for the experience that I've gone here. Odin was an amazing sport. He was so nice. And you should all, you know, follow his podcast, Sjaksnakk. If you speak Norwegian, it's in Norwegian. I don't know how many Norwegian followers I have, but yeah, just a super nice guy. great at chess. He's been over 2200 FIDE. He's a candidate master, and I'm just happy that I was able to put up a good fight. So thank you so much, everybody, for following these 3 days of so much chess. I want to play even more chess, and I will, because my next tournament is starting in only 6 days. So I hope that you're as excited as I am for my next chess tournament. I will be live streaming it on this channel in just 6 days, the 27th of December. Be here or be here, okay? Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for watching the Odin versus Anna match, and keep on playing chess.